Alright everyone, we start off today talking about the absolute panic and weird establishment meltdown that we're seeing over the January 6th largely ceremonial vote counting. And I've seen some presumably LARPy materials. I'll get into them actually on 4chan that I thought people would find hilarious. Because, I mean, if the idea did occur, it would be legendary. It'd be like the greatest troll ever. But first, I am basically shadow banned on YouTube now. Essentially, because political and news commentary, YouTube automatically puts priority creators at the top, and that's all like Fox and CNN, so new people can't generally find any of the political content, and that's about 3/4 of what I upload to the site. That puts me at a disadvantage, so if you'd like to share this out, if you're watching on YouTube, that's appreciated. Share it on some other platform, or conversely, there will be 4 links in a pinned comment. They're also in the description to other sites on which I upload where I'm not algorithmically throttled, and I'm growing rather quickly. Almost 117,000 BitChute subscribers now, so I think I've accomplished something. Anyway, the link in the description, this is from Politico. Politico can be a little bit hyperbolic. And actually I've got to talk separately today about Greenwald. He made a very good point on Substack where he points out, for 4 years we were told Trump is a tyrant, he's an authoritarian, he's going to do like dictator stuff. And it never really happened, but meanwhile, over the course of 4 years, you did see authoritarian garbage coming from the mainstream media and from big tech, and it got, by and large, ignored, and the mainstream sort of covered its own ass. Now, so I'll have to talk about that. This goes into the same Trump derangement syndrome sort of nexus, though, where people are inordinately worried that something catastrophic is going to happen on 6. Trump will stage a coup. While he's up on stage with thousands and thousands of fans, possibly many tens of thousands, some of which will be armed, he's going to seize control of D.C., declare himself emperor, he's going to kill Congress or something like that. He's going to mobilize the military to suppress his foes, and will be a dictatorship, and all this stuff, and it's exactly the sort of shit that we've seen for 4 years, and it never happened. Dictators do not encourage you not to burn books. Dictators don't give you more guns. Of course, he's no fan of gun control, except for the whole bump stock thing. Not necessarily on board, but it's incrementalism. Dictators don't try to defeat censorship. Dictators don't try to bring more money back to the people through a restructured tax plan to give them more potential maneuverability and latitude. None of these things are dictatorial in nature. Dictators don't basically everyday fucking troll people on Twitter either. I think you'll find that they've got better things to do, like shooting people in the back of the head. But they're inordinately worried that some shenanigans are going to happen during the election elector count. That's on January 6th. Trump's holding a rally at the same time. There will be a whole bunch of people showing up, secondary groups, Patriot Prayer and all those. But I did see one thing, and if Trump were to do this, it'd be the most epic thing in history, which is what he said. It was a 4chan thread. Now, again, I'm pretty sure this is a LARP, but he's saying, well, you know, I've got sources in Mike Pence's office, and they're saying he's gonna, when he calls for the, he'll call roll, and everyone's seated, they're ready to cast their votes, their electors, he's gonna bring in a fake Dominion voting machine, plop it in the middle of the rotunda, and force them to use that for tallying the votes, and then he's gonna very deliberately screw around with it, and then demand a hand recount and stuff like that. Like he's gonna troll them, like that there will be a floor show. While that is a LARP, the establishment, again, link in the description, is terrified of the idea that there is going to be a floor show. It would not be strange for Trump and the people around him to stage one. Now, Trump himself, he's at the rally. Pence lords over the proceedings in a largely ceremonial fashion with regards to the actual elector counts. It would surprise me if there weren't some shenanigans. Now, will it affect the outcome? No, but imagine C-SPAN will be recording it live. The MSM won't be really able to help but record it live. It'll certainly be streamed on the internet, and you could see a ruckus, basically. So what is Politico saying should be done? Oh, well, you know, basically was it in the 1880s is when it was incepted, the specific methodology by which the electors are ceremonially counted. They should, Mitch McConnell and Nancy Pelosi should work as hard as they can to quell any shenanigans because, of course, We don't want anything bizarre happening. We've got to maintain decorum by throwing out 120 years of decorum. Is basically what it boils down to. You have to be stupid looking at what Trump's done over the last 4 years. You have to be a moron to believe that he's actually attempting a coup. To believe that he actually intends to become some sort of dictator. That's never what this has been about. If there are any shenanigans, honk honk, oh, of course, it came from that side. It totally came from the MAGA people. Totally fair election, of course. Again, honk honk. The establishment's, this response is bizarre unless you assume one of two things. Either they're getting high on their own supply of fear porn and they actually believe that Trump is going to try to seize command with his army of MAGA hat-wearing followers on the 6th and declare himself a dictator, or it's propaganda. Now, of course, I say it's the latter. By the way, I was thinking the other day, if you follow the main line of Biden liberalism and believe all of this shit about Trump, essentially, the MSM wants me to believe that all of the billionaires and corporate politicians and multinationalists suddenly in the last 4 years became like freedom fighters, and they're trying to save the republic, and they're very noble and have great solemnity towards the Constitution, and that Trump, one man, is a wannabe dictator. Whereas the opposite is that, hey, Trump actually, this is propaganda by billionaires, multinationalists, and war pigs, and Trump is actually like their fall guy. He's the whipping boy for their establishment agenda. I choose to believe the latter. Because what I've seen from Trump, by and large, it's not dictatorial or alarming behavior. The only thing that's ever been alarming, really, recently is his attempt to attack 230, and I don't think that's out of malevolence. I think it's out of ignorance for what it actually means. Which is that if you get rid of it, of course, yeah, you can go after Google and Facebook and stuff. They can weather it in the sense of litigation. Smaller sites would get attacked. They can't. I don't think Trump has fully thought that out, and I think he needs to talk to Tulsi Gabbard about the issue. Other than that, though, there's nothing particularly alarming. I've been willing to call out Trump consistently when I disagree with him on bump stocks, CIA black sites, his half-joking suggestion of banning flag burning, and a few other things that he's done. Other than that, though, he's not acting like they're comparing him to King Lear and shit like that. Like, oh, he's gonna make his final stand. He's gonna go down swinging and do crazy shit. Well, Trump is used to doing crazy shit, but not in that sense. His idea of crazy shit is a theatric performance, and it's grand strategy. It's why he won in 2016, and why he totally lost in the last election. A man who couldn't get 10 people to fucking show up at a rally. No, Donald Trump's not a dictator or a dictator wannabe. His supporters are not violent terrorists and criminals like the MSM is trying to paint them. And ultimately, if there are shenanigans there, it'll probably be a satire about the lame establishment and the election. I mean, it would be funny. I hope it's not a LARP. I hope there's actually some low-level Biden, Pence staffer who says, well, yeah, I heard from Pence that he was going to basically troll all of Congress and everyone watching C-SPAN by rolling out a box that says Dominion on the side and using it to count the electors up. That would be really, really funny. Unfortunately, I think it's very unlikely. I know the cat is attempting to use the computer here. She's gotten too fat to sit on the edge in front of the computer like she used to without flopping over onto the keyboard area. Kitty, seriously, there's a nice warm towel right over there for you. You can look out at the birds. Still more well-behaved than Congress. That's about all. Peace out.